Hello and welcome to Exploited Crimes and Technology. My name is Opal Singleton. I'm the host of your show, and we come to you every Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock right here on AM 590, The Answer. This show is brought to you by a local organization called Million Kids, millionkids.org. We have been working out of Riverside and covering all the Inland Empire for about 15 years now. And our organization's logo, if you will, their motto is keeping kids safe from predators. And so over the last 14, 15 years, I've done a massive amount of research and a whole lot of public speaking about what you can do to keep kids safe from predators. And it's a full-time job, I guarantee you. And I'm not the only person. I want to bring that up because a lot of people think that it's just me at Million Kids. Well, I certainly cover a lot of territory and have for many years, but that is just not true. We have a lady by the name of Dina Murray, works out of the Midwest. She runs her own corporation, and she has a heart for especially foster children. And in fact, she herself and her husband adopted and raised 12 foster children. So the woman is absolutely my hero. I don't know how you do that. You have to have nerves of steel to do that. But she is especially skilled at gathering up a lot of the research that I do, and then also conducting her own research on articles that affect the situation of keeping kids safe, whether it's online, whether it's sex trafficking, whether it's in schools with bullying and that kind of thing. One of the roles that she plays with us is that she creates and publishes each week a kind of a newsletter, if you will. She gathers up, rather than just send you each individual story and bog down your email, she gathers up 4 or 5 important stories for the week and publishes in the news. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about this week, about what is in the news and give you an idea of what is going on. Now, if you want to receive this email, and it is not, we don't pummel you, and we're probably way too remiss in asking for funding. We need to get better at that, I think. But anyway, but it is really about keeping you informed so that you can make your own decisions on what's important for you. And like that. So it's not necessarily about guiding you one way or the other. So it's called In the News. You just go to millionkids.org and sign up for that newsletter. And we don't sell your name. We don't hit you with a bunch of advertising. Maybe once or twice a week, we'll do a release if there's an event that we think you might be interested in, or if there's a news story that just needs immediate looking after. So one of the things I wanted to do with the rest of the show this morning is talk about some of the things that are in the news that I think are important. So over the last day or so, we've been hit up, probably the last 24 hours. This does not have to do with keeping kids safe from predators per se, but personally, I research lots of things, including things about laws and things that have to do with law enforcement, and also a lot of legislation. But this headline just broke my heart. It's back in Charlotte, probably North Carolina, I would guess. Anyway, 4 law enforcement officers were killed and 4 were injured as U.S. Marshals Task Force served a warrant. Well, I want to tell you why that bothers me and why this is really serious business for our law enforcement. We ask a huge amount of sacrifice, if you will, in asking our law enforcement people to go out there and keep us safe. And we just assume that they do that, willingly, and that they're well paid and like that. Well, some of them are and some of them are not. In this particular case, what happened was that they were attempting to serve a warrant for firearm possession by a convicted felon. And during a Monday evening briefing, they said the recipient of the warrant was the one that opened the fire on them. The reason I want to bring this out is because I saw another case like this about 18 months ago that just broke my heart. The victim there was Dan Alfin, Alfin, and Lauren Schwarzenberger, I think it was. Laura, I think it was. Anyway, the two of them were serving a search warrant for child pornography, what we call CSAM, child sexual abuse materials. And as they went up on the porch of that house to serve that warrant, apparently the person on the other side knew they were coming. And he saw them in their Ring camera. And that makes any law enforcement officer who's serving a warrant a sitting duck. If the person on the other side of the door knows you're coming and you have to go to the front door and ring that bell, you are sitting there just set up perfectly to be shot at. In the case of Dan Alfin, he lost his life, and so did his partner. They never had a chance. They rang the doorbell, and their lives were over. And I don't know if this is the case. They didn't say if there's a Ring doorbell in this, but these people were going in there to serve a warrant. And I want you to think about how technology changes the role for our law enforcement officers. All it takes is to go on the wrong doorstep and ring that camera, have that Ring camera spot you, and you are sitting out there, thinking you're going to just serve a warrant and leave, and your life may be over. And, we don't know if the Ring camera was involved, but we do know that several good law enforcement officers were lost. 4 were lost and 4 were injured. And when I see something like that, it really breaks my heart. And I think that one of the things I often say is that the way our society is construed, is that a good word? Constructed, let's try that word. Anyway, that basically what is happening, there's a real emphasis on defunding police or not supporting police or not giving them the resources they need. In the meantime, you are seeing gangs and cartels that are escalating the crimes in the United States to a point that there is massive money laundering going back to the main organization. Whether it's sex trafficking, whether it's drug trafficking, fentanyl, guns, whatever it is. Blackmail, by the way, has become one of them. These big timeshare scams is another one. It's all about moving a lot of money out of the United States and to fund cartels. So they are getting bigger. They're getting more sophisticated with technology. They are getting advanced in the equipment that they have. In the meantime, if there was ever a time in our society we ought to be investing in law enforcement technology, it is right now. How on earth do we protect our individuals that go out there when they can be spotted with drones, they can be followed with drones, they can be used for all kinds of technology where their life is no longer safe? I think about that when I look at what is going on in all these campuses with all the big riots that are going on and the protests that are going on. And those people are very well organized. This is not some young student who says, oh, I think I'll go out there and wave a flag. These are people that are organized, and we are putting man-to-man combat against them. And they're organized, they're well-funded, and like that. In the meantime, all of our laws, all of our activities seem to be going towards taking away from empowering law enforcement. And that just doesn't make any sense to me. If you think that law enforcement is going to have any chance to keep you safe, then we need to find the funding they need to get the right technology, the right training, the right understanding of what's happening, because with the flow of money that is going out to the other people that are combating our law enforcement, it's not a fair fight. And I'm very, very proud of our law enforcement in Riverside and San Bernardino County. I know them. I've worked with them for years and years and years. We're very fortunate to have strong district attorneys that stand for good prosecutions and trying to get everything charged out there more than most counties. And I agree, it doesn't always go the way we think it should or that we want or that they want. But we have good men and women that put their life on the line to protect us and our community, and we need to take care of them. This is Opal Singleton. This show is called Exploited: Crimes and Technology. We are coming up against that break, folks, so stay with us. We're going to be right back. Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited: Crimes and Technology. Hey, let me tell you about my favorite restaurant in Riverside, Monarch Asian Bistro. The atmosphere and decor are simply stunning. The service is great too. It's a wonderful environment for a romantic dinner or a family get-together. It's not just another Chinese restaurant. The Monarch Asian Bistro is upscale, and it serves Thai food as well as unique Asian-inspired dishes that are just fabulous. My favorite is the pad see ew beef. My husband likes the orange chicken, and the Chinese chicken salad is always great. Our friends sometimes order the Emperor's Choice or Monarch steak. It is my favorite go-to place. Go ahead and give it a try. It's Monarch Bistro in Riverside, Canyon Crest Town Center next to Ralph's. They are open for lunch and dinner every day but Tuesday. Go ahead, give it a try. You're going to love it.
Real estate sales in the Inland Empire are really hot. Sean and Colleen at Caldwell Banker Armstrong Properties in Riverside are proud to sponsor this show. They are the best in the Inland Empire. They're fair, honest, creative, and they care about you and your situation. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call Sean and Colleen at 951-529-4066.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of MillionKids.org. I believe the four most powerful words on earth are I believe in you. So we created a challenge coin that says, I believe in you on one side and stand tall, you are loved on the other side. This one-of-a-kind challenge coin is a perfect gift for birthdays, anniversaries, graduation, Christmas presents, or just an anytime gift for someone you love. What a powerful message for a parent or a grandparent to give to a young person. This 2-inch coin is made of polished gold. It's striking to look at, and it is priceless to hold. It is packaged in a beautiful black velvet gift box. What a great way to leave a legacy of love that will last forever. To purchase this coin, go to millionkids.org/gallery. Each coin is $25. Go to millionkids.org/gallery to purchase and give a legacy of love.
AM 590, The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited: Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton. The organization is called Million Kids. Millionkids.org. We're all about keeping our kids safe from predators. We combat labor trafficking and sex trafficking, and there's not a lot of discussion about labor trafficking in Southern California, but I want to talk about it a little bit today. I have several things I want to share with you, but this one is near and dear to my heart. So what is happening is we have open borders. We've had open borders for a very long time, it seems like to me. I'm always just kind of blown away. I would love to hear from you on what you think, but I can remember 2-3 years ago looking at the border and going, somebody's got to fix this. Somebody's got to stop this. A nation cannot survive if it does not have a border that defines that this is the nation and this is what it's going to take for you to enter our nation. I don't know any other nation on earth that is having the kind of open borders that we are dealing with. And so what is happening is a lot of those people are coming in from all over the world. And so we all, we want the best for other people. I mean, I honestly believe the only thing that I did really, really, really right in my life is I got to be born in America, because I've been to Cambodia, I've been to China, I've been to Egypt, I've been to a lot of places, and praise God, I was born in America. And I understand that a lot of good-hearted people want to get here or get away from the country that they're living in. I get all that. But, for a country to survive, they've got to be able to enforce rules and like that. So what is happening is a lot of people are coming in. And, 3 years ago, we didn't have nearly the amount of problems that we have right now in labor trafficking. So what is labor trafficking and why am I having this conversation? Well, basically what happens is people take advantage of other people. And usually it is someone who gets to the U.S. and then, they hold them against their will. And they treat them terribly. Maybe they don't pay them, they abuse them, but more importantly, they will often hold their documentation and threaten their family back home or threaten them with personal violence. And so that is labor trafficking. And you have to know that must have had a big increase in that over the last 3 years because we now have millions and millions of people here that are going to be looking for work. They're going to try to find some way to survive, and they will be vulnerable to being abused. Well, so there's a bill that's being presented out there by Rubio. It's called AB 1832. And it's called the Civil Rights Department Labor Trafficking Task Force. And they're asking us to support this bill. And I'm going to tell you that I do not. For many, many reasons in this case. AB 1832. AB 1832 would establish the labor trafficking unit within the Civil Rights Department of the state of California, I guess, to receive, investigate, prosecute complaints alleging labor trafficking and taking steps to prevent it. So what they're looking to do is put all of these kinds of crimes under the Civil Rights Department. Does that make you think of the ACLU, American Civil Liberties Union? The unit would coordinate with various state departments and follow protocols to ensure survivors of labor trafficking are not victimized by the process of prosecuting traffickers. What they're saying is we must not let law enforcement handle this. We need the civil rights unit of the state of California handle it. Well, labor trafficking is a criminal act. And sometimes they're very violent. I've seen many cases of women who have been put in massage parlors throughout the state of California. They are moved from one massage parlor to the other. They do not get the money they earn. They are often violated. They are often beat up. And their lives are in serious danger. That kind of thing is a criminal activity. And what this bill is saying is they want to create a civil rights department so that it is handled by them and not the law enforcement. And I read this and I think, this is a lot of double talk going on there. And that is the reason why we do the thing that we talked about when we got here in the news, because we want to keep you informed about what is taking place out there, why things are happening the way they are, and like that. Now, I have about 5 minutes left in this segment. I wanted to share with you one more article that was posted in the news. And this is coming out of the UK, the BBC. I often look at news agencies all over the world, including China news for what it's worth, Al Jazeera, BBC, like that, to try to get a different opinion. But in this case, the headline, 3-year-olds were groomed online, according to the charity. The charity is Internet Watch Foundation, IWF, Internet Watch Foundation. They discovered more than 2,000 remotely filmed child abuse images of kids that were 3 to 6 years old, and these images are online. It follows warnings from the communication watchdog Ofcom, Ofcom. I don't know them. I don't know if they're part of the Internet Watch Foundation or not. But this organization is saying that almost 1/4 of children aged 5 to 7 years old have a smartphone of their own. Oh my gosh, that gives me the willies. You got to be kidding me. Now, this is coming out of the UK, but I can't believe that they're any more progressive than we are. They're saying 1/4 of the kids, 5 to 7 years old, have a smartphone of their own. What on earth does a kid know on how to use a smartphone at 5 years old? The first thing that's going to happen is they're going to be sent pictures of little kids and sex acts, and they all think it's some sort of game. And then they will take a picture and send it back because they're too young to understand what is really going on. They're saying here, responding to the report, the security minister from the UK says that parents need to speak to their kids. No kidding. Parents not to be giving a 5-year-old a phone. News Analysis published in its latest annual report discovered 2,400 images of children aged 3 to 6 in self-generated images on the open self-generated images on the open online, on the open web. Nearly 1 in 7 images were category A. Now, these are kids. These are little kids, okay? 3 to 6 years old that are doing this. And they're saying that they were coerced or tricked by a predator. Can you imagine a 3 to 6 year old being online and somebody's talking to them? Of course they're going to be coerced. They are sitting ducks if you put them out there. Nearly 1 in 7 images were category A. The rating is assigned those featuring the most serious abuse. 6 and 10 were showing sexual posing with nudity. These are little kids who got a cell phone that connected with some sort of pedophile out there that showed them what to do, and they made these images and they put them out there. The analysts who reviewed some of the images found that many were taken at home in the children's bedroom or in family bathrooms when the child's alone with another child or a sibling or a friend. Most of the time, some of the time, it says, children were completely unaware that they're being recorded. The analysts were confident that somebody else was directing what was happening, as 3 to 6 year olds are sexually naive and would not normally be aware of the possibility of this type of sexual behavior. That's exactly what pedophiles do when they get very young kids online. It's a game. And we were all like that when we were 5, 6 years old and something funny happened that had a sexual innuendo. Everybody giggled because that's what little kids do. But when you're starting to record it and put it on the World Wide Web for perpetuity and know that you have total strangers who are now accessing your child in their bedroom on a phone that you gave them, it takes on a whole new dimension. The analysts were confident someone else was directing it. According to their research, 1/3 of parents whose 5 to 7 year olds browse social media are allowed to do so alone. Oh my, 1/3 of that, okay? Ian Critchley leads the National Police Chiefs Council, said protecting young children, not just the responsibility of parents and givers, the biggest challenge needs to come from the tech companies. Well, I don't disagree with that. Tech companies need to be responsible. They need to know what's on their platforms. They need to run those bots and algorithms, but they cannot come into your house and parent your child, at least not yet. But who knows what will happen in the future. This is Opal Singleton. We're coming up against that break, so we're going to stay with us, and we'll be right back.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime. It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses, and their parents are technophobic. Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the dark net will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator. It is indeed a societal shift, and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift. Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton, and we're talking about what's in the news in the world of combating sex trafficking and social media exploitation. So we have just been reading this article that blows my mind. That's why I'm sharing it with you. I don't know about you, but you can feel the agitation going on in my voice. You know, you want to go out and do something, but you have to be careful what you say in the air. They'll come get you. Anyway, I just think this is awful. Let's leave it at that, okay? So this is related to one of the articles that's in our program that we run called In the News. If you want to subscribe to our newsletters, go to millionkids.org. Not 1 million, not 10 million. It's just simply millionkids.org. And go into the newsletter and subscribe. We don't sell your name. We don't harass you. Maybe a fundraising letter, maybe 2 to 3 times a year, but I'm sure you can handle that. But it is our way of keeping you informed. And so once a week, we do an e-blast out to several thousand followers on the latest stories. And this is one of them. And I just want to make you aware of it because I'm reading this. This is coming out of the BBC. It is current. It was this last week. And the headline, if you want to look up the article, is 3-year-olds groomed online, charity warns. Well, the charity is the Internet Watch Foundation, the IWS. And in this, they had done some sort of research on it that said that more than 2,000 remotely filmed child abuse images were found online. And according to this, they say that 1/4 of children aged 5 to 7 have a smartphone of their own. And so as they go on in here, they're saying that it was discovered that 2,400 images were found that were self-generated images, and these children were 3 to 6 years old. So these are kids who are taking their own photo or making a video, because even 3-year-olds can figure that out. That is part of the problem when you put a prepubescent child online. They don't know anything about what a pedophile is or why they want what they want. All they know is they're cute and they're very good with technology and they want to impress the person. And trust me, these creeps know exactly how to handle that. They come in, they send your kid a little video and everybody giggles and they all have a good time and they go, oh, send me one back. And so in this case, they found over 2,400 images that were self-generated, what we call CSAM. And in this case, they had like nudity and that kind of thing. When they looked at them, they were taken at home in the child's bedroom, in a family bathroom when the child's alone, or with a sibling or friend. So the analyst was confident that somebody else was directing this. As they start looking into it, one of the statements made by the National Police Chiefs Council is that the tech companies and online platforms have to be more responsible. Well, I don't disagree with that, but it wasn't the tech company that handed a 3-year-old your phone. In fact, when you go online and you download an app, you agree that you're at least, depending on the app, usually at least 13 years old. So parents go online, they download an app, and they hand it to a 6-year-old. That is not the 6-year-old's fault, and it's not the tech company's fault, because the parent agreed that they would not do that, but apparently nobody reads it or takes it seriously. Now, what they're asking the companies to do, and I am for this, I'm not against it, okay, but that will not solve the problem. What they're saying is these platforms need to run their bots and algorithms and look for any kind of image of someone under the age of 18 that's in nudity or sexual or illicit or any kind of questionable photos, and to take them off. Well, I agree with that a whole lot. Okay. They need to do that. But I will tell you also that when you download an app and you agree not to hand it to a 13-year-old and you hand it to your 3-year-old, somebody in there is complicit. And this is really, I often in my trainings, we have this discussion. You know, if a child is violated online, who is responsible? My answer is everybody, okay? Because the child knows how to make those photos, and they did. So somebody needs to talk to the child about, you know, what's appropriate. More importantly, when you download that, you agree that you're going to do adult stuff and be responsible as an adult. And when you immediately break that, then you have some culpability in there of what your child is doing because you're paying for the phone and you allowed the download of the app. Having said that, I also think that tech companies should be running their platforms so that it doesn't stay on there. But once it's on there, it is very difficult because it may go on Instagram, it may go on TikTok, but then it gets forwarded and passed around and like that. So it really comes down to whoever's using that device needs to be old enough to have cognitive reasoning and understanding of what is involved in transmitting something on the World Wide Web. Now, having said all of that, there are some new tools that are coming out, and we will get a lot more sophisticated as time goes by. And in trying to deal with this, Meta, which of course is the mother company, the mothership, if you will, of the Instagram, is trying out some new tools. And I do think that there is a real need to get technology involved in combating this because we're accelerating at the speed of light. I go back to my original conversation of we need the same thing for law enforcement. You know, we need to be investing millions and millions and millions in our local law enforcement. And that just doesn't happen out here. And so that gives everybody else the advantage over law enforcement. Well, this article that's in the news that we're talking about, Meta is trying out a new tool that will automatically blur photos containing nudity and any kind of direct messages. Did you get that? They are monitoring your direct messages, okay? So beware that that's out there. The social media announced in a blog post Thursday that the new features, the auto blur technology, are part of a campaign to fight sexual scams and make it tougher for criminals to contact teens. This feature is designed not only to protect people from seeing unwanted nudity in their direct messaging, but also to protect them from scammers who may send nude images to trick people into sending their own images in return. Meta owns Facebook and WhatsApp, but the nudity feature won't be on those platforms. It'll only be for the pedophiles that are operating on Instagram. Sexual extortion happens when one person coerces another person into sending explicit photos of themselves, and then they threaten those, unless the victim pays money or engages in sexual favors. One recent case, and you'll hear me talking about these cases over and over and over, it involved two Nigerian brothers who pled guilty to sexually extorting teen boys across the country, including one 17-year-old boy who took his own life. That is Jordan DeMay. I have done radio shows where we've talked about Jordan and his life. Jordan was an incredibly special young man, very attractive young man. He was homecoming king. He was a football star. He was just a dynamic individual who got tricked into sending a photo to what he thought was a young girl about his age. And instead of that, they were Nigerian telemarketers, and they became absolutely ruthless on that young man to a point where he finally ended up taking his own life. Once these photos get out there to these overseas telemarketing companies, one kid received over 1,000 texts in a 24-hour blackmailing him. So we need to be able to increase our technology where they can go in, they can report, they can blur out some of the images that are online. But again, once it leaves any of the meta, then it's going to go out to other apps, and that isn't going to fix it. So we won't be able to always fix it technically, but it is time for parents to stand up and realize that when you put a 3 to 6 year old kid online, you are asking for trouble. It is that simple. Your child does not have cognitive reasoning to understand where that photo is going to go when he hits send or she hits send. And their life, and most likely your life, will change forever. My name is Opal Singleton. The show is Exploited, Crimes and Technology. We'll be right back.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited, Crimes and Technology. I want to tell you about a book I wrote called Seduced, The Grooming of America's Teenagers. It's all about how predators access, groom, recruit, and exploit our young people using social media, online gaming, video chat rooms. Technology is changing at the speed of light, and we have to understand how to keep our kids safe from predators. So you can get this book by going to www.millionkids.org. It's $16. I'll sign it, and I'll ship it to you personally. We hope that you will order this book, educate yourself about how to keep our kids safe in this day of changing technology. Join us each Saturday for our radio show at Exploited, Crimes and Technology at 3 o'clock on AM 590, The Answer.
Custom Service Systems, a proud supporter of Million Kids, is a family-owned and operated commercial cleaning company servicing the Inland Empire and surrounding areas since 1974. CSS takes pride in their ability to maintain the business facilities they serve and their long-lasting relationships with their valued clients. CSS provides a variety of cleaning systems customized to client needs, including deep cleaning and disinfectant to be COVID-19 compliant. From basic office cleaning to windows and floors, CSS will clean up your mess so you don't have to stress. Custom Service Systems cares about families and communities and wants to give back. Custom Service Systems are proud supporters of Million Kids to keep kids safe from predators. If you need the best cleaning services for your business or corporation, contact Custom Service Systems at cssclean.com. Again, cssclean.com, or call 951-781-9345. That's 951-781-9345. You will know you found the best. Custom Service Systems.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. Let me tell you about my friend Doris Anderson at Remax Realty in Upland. She is amazing. She's kind, she's patient, but she listens. And she's informed, and she will help you with your real estate transaction in a way that works for you. Doris, in full disclosure, often supports the work of Million Kids because she cares about young people. But she knows how to analyze a market, how to market a property, and how to find just the right transaction for both buyers and sellers. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate or invest in income property, contact Doris Anderson at Remax Realty 951-733-8899. That's 951-733-8899. 951-733-8899.
AM 590. The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton, and we are talking about what's in the news related to things like combating sextortion, social media exploitation, and even things like sex trafficking and labor trafficking. So I was giving you several of the new cases that came out this week. We run this thing called In the News, and you have to sign up for it. You don't just get it. You have to go on to millionkids.org and sign up for the newsletter. But every week, we will give you 4 or 5 of the latest cases that are happening so that you can see how to protect your family, your kids, your grandkids, and like that. But you can also see what is going on out there in the name of legislation, what's going on in the name of technology, and like that. So we were reading about this case here that was involving, or this research study out of the UK about the number of very young kids that are online and what is happening. In the course of the article, they talk about the case that we had a year and a half ago, and it just makes your heart break. This happened right here in Riverside to some of the most lovely people you could ever imagine. According to their article, and I'll give you my own version, a 28-year-old Virginia sheriff posed as a teenage to a young girl online to obtain nude pics from a girl here in California. He sexually extorted and kidnapped them at gunpoint. When he went in, he killed the grandmother, the grandfather, and the mother of this young girl, ending up kidnapping her and setting the house on fire. That is a very fine young lady. I know of her. I don't know her, but she is a very fine young lady. No one could have ever guessed that this was about to happen in this case. But this is the reason why we have to start to get ourselves informed to understand what is going on. For years and years, I fought sextortion. It kind of started with the idea that our kids sent a nude, and then, the worst that would happen is they go to school and get bullied or blackmailed, but it wasn't serious. But as technology has changed around the world, this is often about organized crime. You're hearing all over the world about how technology has gone into Belize and to Romania and Albania and Malaysia and like that. Very poor countries, Nigeria, Ivory Coast, where they will take their children and force them into telemarketing centers where they pose as young kids, young girls especially, to our guys. And they will send a nude and they will start to blackmail them. Well, one of the things that you'll see in the news that we send out to you is that artificial intelligence will make every one of you vulnerable to that. Because I would be here to predict that within the next 5 years, every one of us that have a photo online, it will be altered, and poor countries will start to use that to blackmail you. We got to get ready. This is the reason why I encourage you to follow us at millionkids.org, sign up for our newsletter, stay informed about what is happening on here. This is really important that we sit down and start to have conversations with our kids about artificial intelligence and how it is changing our life today. The big problem is you can't do that with a 3-year-old or a 4 or 5-year-old, which is all the reason in the world you would never put them out there where they can be reached by people all over the world. And one of the things that parents seem to be extremely naive about is last year, for the first time in history, the entire world connected by 5G high-speed internet. That put poor people all over the world in immediate access to our children, right into their bedroom if they take their phone to bed with them. And they're going to make them all kinds of offers and threats and seductions that you can't believe. And we're really going to have to toughen up as a society if we don't want our kids falling prey to that, or we don't want to fall prey to it. With artificial intelligence, every one of us is capable of being blackmailed for something, and we need to know how to handle it and what is happening on there so that our kids don't end up taking their lives, so that our kids don't end up being blackmailed, so our 3-year-old doesn't start getting photos of something they should never see, even if they're 42. We need to start to think this out. And that is what the work of Million Kids is all about, is how to help you understand all the changes that are going on in our world and all the changes that are taking place online with technology and how it affects crime and crime solving. And I would ask you to think about joining with us, follow up and get involved. Go to millionkids.org, sign up for the newsletter. If you want to donate for our work, we would certainly appreciate it. We're a small organization, but mighty. We cover a lot of territory and educate a lot of people, but we are on the cutting edge of how technology is changing our lives for good and maybe not so good. But more important, how do we protect our very young kids? How do we protect our precious teenagers? One of the things that just makes me sick when I follow many of these stories is many of these young teenagers that end up taking their own lives are brilliant kids that parents never even worried about because they made solid decisions and they were very successful and high achievers and like that. And they never would have guessed. And that every parent that I heard in a testimony said, I wish I had said to them, I hope you don't, but if you do, I hope you know that I will understand and you can come to me and we will get through this together. But to be an informed parent, you need to be informed and you need to know what is happening and how to handle it. And that is our work, is to give you the equipment you need to begin to put you and your whole family on a world without borders, because that's where we're at today. We are in some unprecedented time where technology is changing at the speed of light, and it is changing our lives, and it's changing the lives of our law enforcement. And we need to think that out. I honestly believe that there needs to be a real emphasis on raising money, however they're going to do it, to give good technology to our prosecutors and to our investigators out there, that they can begin to understand who these people are that are coming into our lives. Oftentimes, we are being violated from people that aren't from our own community, and that is very common today, and it's going to get to be a lot more common as our lives have changed. Everything seems to have done a 180 in the last 2 to 3 years. Part of it is technology driven. Part of it is politically driven. Part of it is because we have open borders. Part of it is because the inflation has changed, where people have a hard time making a living and turn to crime. A lot of these factors that are out there are changing our lives. But the way that we navigate through this and the way we teach our kids, I believe it's important to have these kinds of open dialogue with your teenagers. They are preparing to live in a world that will be so much farther beyond where we're at today if we don't give them the skill sets for cognitive reasoning and to think things out and start ask questions and don't just go in believing what everybody says. And more important, do not open the door to our kids for everybody around the world to be able to reach them, especially if they have not gone through puberty and they don't have cognitive reasoning. This is teaching your child to begin to question the information they have out there and determine what is really true is really one of the greatest skills that a parent can give a child. I myself, I read these things, I read them 2 or 3 times, I go, what's their motivation and what is really being said there? This generation will live in a world where they are fed more information than any generation before them, but also they will be fed less truth than any generation that has ever been before them. And I believe that it's up to us to get them ready to do that. It's an exciting time, but it's a terrifying time. And it is up to us and parenting to think this out in the world that they're living in and get them ready. My name is Opal Singleton. This organization is Million Kids, millionkids.org. If you want to donate to our organization, if you want to sign up for our newsletter, we are not high pressure in any way. We are people who care about our families and our kids. I hope that you folks will have a great week this week. You know, it's springtime, my favorite time of the year. It's just beautiful out there right now with all the flowers and the trees and everything blooming. It also makes you sneeze. Okay, you folks have a great week. Put your arms around your family and let them know how proud you are of them and that you're there to support them, and that together you're going to get ready for the future. I'll see you next Saturday at 3 o'clock right here on AM 590, The Answer.
This message is all about Million Kids, the organization that helps locate missing kids throughout Southern California and educates to keep kids safe from predators. Million Kids educates school administrators, teachers, parents, and teenagers how predators identify a potential victim and the methods they use to recruit innocent kids. BMW of Riverside is a proud supporter of Million Kids. Visit BMW of Riverside at the Adams Street exit off the 91 freeway or click bmwofriverside.com.